You got to hold on. You gotta hold on. You gotta hold on.
You're listening to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show with your host, Brad Brock.
Good morning, Jammers, and what a morning it is. Welcome to Jams and Coffee here in the morning. I am your host, Brad, and boy, I'm glad that I'm here. Last night on the Jams and Cocktails podcast was it was a long one. Paul and I were just talking in the chats there on YouTube. I didn't believe that we were running as long as we did. Every time I looked at the clock, it was like boom, another 25 minutes had gone by. But I'm here. I made it. Of course. Always with some technical snafus and things like that, but we are here, and it's Thursday, September 15th, 2022. Thank you so much for tuning in on YouTube, Facebook, or listening in on JNC Radio, which got working this morning. That was nice. Yeah, we were unable to broadcast to it yesterday, and I'm really not sure what happened because I feel like we were broadcasting fine yesterday morning, and something changed between yesterday morning and last night. So there you go. But I'm watching the chats and comments, so please chime in if there's anything you want to talk about. Of course, the JNC hotline phone line is open, 772-888-1596. Follow the prompts, and we'll get you on the air. Talk about whatever's on your mind. Last night was fun. It was a shot collar episode. I pull those together oftentimes for our friend Derek, who particularly loves playing that game. And so we got to throw him a bone every now. And it's a fan favorite. Everybody, for some reason, loves to see us get the shit shocked out of us. So we introduced the shot collars to a couple different games. And all was really fun. We had some good moments. And we had some interesting discussions. We had during Ellie's segment, we were talking about guilty pleasures at first, and then we got on a tangent about, losing your senses. And we had a nice spirited debate on which senses we could live without and we couldn't live without. And you'll have to go back. I might actually pull that out as a clip and upload it as a highlight because I found it fascinating, and I loved that everybody was chiming in the chats about it as well. So I may put that out there yet as a standalone highlight. But yeah, the weather this morning, to say the least, has been bizarre. We got a little rain. Now it's beautiful and sunny here on the Treasure Coast. The forecast says that this morning the temperatures, of course, again, will be in the mid to upper 70s, and the low to mid 70s in Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast, respectively. There'll be some passing clouds going through this morning, and this afternoon the highs are going to be in the 80s to low 90s. Isolated showers and storms are expected to develop along the sea breeze by late morning and early afternoon, and increasing storm activity by late afternoon and early evening, and then the rain fizzling out after sunset, which is nice because I have a show after sunset. Slow-moving storms could result in flooding in spots, but tonight the lows are going to be in the 70s under partly cloudy skies, so it should shape up to be a nice evening. What else is going on out there? We have a huge, massive list of national days today that we'll get to. And why not just jump into that? knock it out, get it out of the way. Today, of course, September 15th is National Linguine Day. I don't know about you, but I love a good linguine. From the Liguria region of Italy, linguine means little tongues. Did you know that? Now you do. In Italian, of course. Made from semolina flour. Linguine is one of the world's oldest kinds of pasta. Fettuccine and linguine both developed around 400 years ago. While both are thin, flat noodles, linguine is narrower and more elliptical in shape. As a result, linguine produces a more delicate pasta. To avoid breakage, pair linguine with thinner, lighter sauces. However, lighter sauces don't limit linguine's flavor. In fact, linguine recipes offer a wide variety of sauces. Whether you prefer spicy pasta or seafood, linguine offers a nice base. Complements herb and butter sauces nicely as well. And adding fresh vegetables, linguine allows the bright colors to shine. Pesto lovers rave over linguine, and another ingredient that favors linguine is earthy mushrooms. And we're going to talk more about mushrooms a little bit later on in the broadcast. So there you go. Get yourself some linguine. I do love pasta, man. I wish that that pasta wasn't loaded with carbs. I'd eat it every day. Love it. Love it so much. What else do we got going on today? It's National Cheese Toast Day. Another favorite. My God, this is Carb Day. You everybody that's been watching their carbs, today is the day. Today is the day to throw caution to the wind. How could you avoid National Cheese Toast Day? It's simple but delicious. Cheese and toast go well together, of course. A little butter helps everything meld together nicely, too. Doesn't want a little butter there. And the crustier the bread, the better. Makes an excellent side dish, but cheese toast also serves up a satisfying snack. While food holidays aren't in short order on the calendar, we can't surpass them because of the carb count, as we were talking about. Cheese and toast perfectly combine to dunk into soup. In the middle of dinner conversation, a chunk of cheese toast waved in the air emphatically punctuates your story, especially when finishing a monologue with a satisfying bite. Crunch, crunch. Yes, yes. Might surprise many to know that the treat was actually created by Del Johnson. Back in 1958, he opened his first Sizzler restaurant. You guys remember Sizzler? Oh, man, I miss Sizzler. If I ever saw Sizzler again, it would take me right back to childhood. And it was an instant success. Although the recipe changed a bit over the years, the concept of cheese toast hasn't. Over 60 years later, cheese toast continues to be a favorite dish across the country. The best cheeses and bread served up as an appetizer with soup or with the main course. Cheese toast pairs well with many dishes. Get out there. Philip, welcome to the chats there, buddy. You guys are superheroes. Yeah, I do this for you guys in the morning sometimes, especially after podcast night. I'm not going to lie. I literally was like laying in bed when my alarm clock went off this morning and was like, who will miss this? Who will miss this if I just sleep in? But here you guys are. So I'm really glad that I pulled my life together. We went long last night. We went, normally we're trying to figure out how to get to the 10 o'clock hour, especially on shows when we don't have guests. And boy, did we supersede that by almost 45 minutes. Long show. You guys were too... Philip said he was going to bed, and then 40 minutes later, he was still in there hanging with us. So I appreciate you guys being here this morning, giving me a reason to get my ass out of bed. It's also National Pawpaw Day. No, not your grandparents or your grandfathers. Nope. National Pawpaw Day, celebrated on the third Thursday in September. It provides a taste of the great and forgotten American fruit. Take a bite out of a creamy mango banana flavored pawpaw to celebrate. Despite their tropical taste and appearance, many pawpaws grow natively in the United States. With over 60 varieties of pawpaw to choose from, the fruit's character changes slightly in each one. The blend of banana and mango, and sometimes pineapple. We shouldn't be surprised by the names given to pawpaw. For example, the Kentucky banana, the hillbilly mango hints at the exciting tropical experience awaiting us. Interestingly, the pawpaw is the largest edible fruit native to the United States. What the hell does a pawpaw even look like? I've never heard of this in my life. Yeah, this is what it looks like. Maybe it'll pop up here. Yeah, that's a pawpaw. Interesting, huh? Yeah, I don't know if I've ever had anything like that in my life. So yeah, get out there and eat a pawpaw. Maybe I'll have to try it. We do have a great local grocery store that has all these bizarre things. It's right around the corner. It's nice. September 15th commemorates the movement that began on this day known as Greenpeace Day. The day highlights activism in the name of the environment. The day recognizes peaceful protest for change to improve air quality, reduce reliance on fossil fuels, use of plastics, water quality. Conservation and preservation fall under their topics of environmental justice. It was founded in 1971 by 17 activists protesting nuclear testing off the shores of Alaska. Greenpeace now boasts a worldwide membership. Taking on environmental issues and raising awareness, their campaigns continually strive to support and preserve Earth. And I know conservationists sometimes are the butts of jokes and things like that. We all are in our good time. But hey, if they're out there fighting for it, who am I to say anything bad about it? So, truth be told, we are consumers. Yeah, it's nice to know that sometime we can get brake checked a little bit, as long as it's done smart and peacefully. Greenpeace Day. Let's see what else. National Creme de Menthe Day. A nice drink. Recognizes the creamy peppermint flavored liqueur used in cocktails and desserts. Delicious. We're still on the carb train here. It's National Double Cheeseburger Day, as well as Cheese Toast Day, and as well as Linguine Day, one of America's favorite double cheeseburger days. Recognizes a food icon savored across the United States. Hamburger, seasoned ground beef, grilled and placed between two slices of bread or a bun, topped with sautéed onions, peppers, pickles, sliced onions, and cheese, of course. Add condiments such as ketchup, mustard, or mayo, or all three. Any one of these combinations would create a modern American version of hamburger. Now double the patties and the cheese, because this celebration requires it. While the day is about double cheeseburger, that doesn't mean that you can't add your favorite toppings. When it comes to adding some tanginess to a burger, a few ingredients never fail. Listen, go wild. Goat cheese brightens a burger every time. But if you're looking for a crispiness too, add some creamy coleslaw instead. Another option in this category is the reliable tartar sauce. Never done that. If you like to bring the heat, you can look to your cheeses. Pepper jack is a mild way of adding some spice. However, if you prefer to test the limits, fresh sliced jalapenos or habaneros will also do the trick. There you go. Double cheeseburger day. It looks good, too. This is what I'm looking at, in case you wanted to know. No, that's not what it was at all. I was trying to drop a photo. Nope, not letting me do it. That's okay. Sorry, guys. What else is going on out there? National Felt Hat Day. Everybody loves a good felt hat. I'll be donning one next week for Oktoberfest on the Jams and Cocktails podcast. Let's see. The observant recognizes a stylish head protection worn throughout history. Historically, men and women wore hats as a protection and status symbols as well. This time of the year, people traded in the lighter, cooler straw hats for the warmer felt hats. Additionally, etiquette dictated that hats men and women wore and wear. For example, good behavior required men mostly to learn to don and doff the hat at an early age. While primarily made of wool, felt hats can also be made from the fur of other animals, usually a rabbit and beaver were the furs of choice. During the 16th and 17th century, beaver hats reached popularity, but overtrapping depleted the population. You can't just be making hats all the time out of little critters. Philip said today is Pam's Friday. Congratulations, Pam. It's also kind of my Friday. Actually, I have a Friday night off, believe it or not. And I'm going to use it in the best fashion possible. National Felt Hat Day. I feel like I should have worn one. Let's see. Some other mentions. It's a National Neonatal Nurses Day, an important job. It recognizes those who care for the most fragile patients as they take their first breaths. The celebration takes place in the middle of National Neonatal Intensive Care Awareness Month. So thank you, neonatal nurses. It's a National Online Learning Day. If you're like me, you're a forever student of YouTube University. I don't know if this is what they're talking about, but that's where I learn most of my things nowadays. It recognizes the advantages and vast potential of learning online. It also honors the accomplishments of online students everywhere. Whether you've ever taken an online course, used educational resources at a traditional brick-and-mortar school, or taught them, this day is for you. The day showcases online learning, helping people accomplish their goals and dreams, and helps check things off their bucket list. Not only that, but online learning offers valuable resources to parents as well. The ability to check in with teachers and assist their child remotely heightens the educational experience. It's the future, guys. It's the future. And finally, it's National Tackle Kids Cancer Day. It's also quite an important one. Of course, it gives you a chance to be part of the cure for pediatric cancer research. Join other Tackle Kids Cancer supporters by volunteering to rally our community and raise the needed funds for pediatric cancer research. Did you know that only 4% of federal cancer dollars apply to pediatric cancer research? 4%. Finding a cure means more than ever. Tackle Kids Cancer Day gives us a platform for our voices to be heard. So help find a cure for pediatric cancer today. Yeah, that's the worst. So there you go. There's your national days. Appreciate you listening. Get out there and celebrate. Eat some carbs. That's what they really want you to do today. It is a big carb day. What else is going on? Yeah, going back to last night on the Jams and Cocktails podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate that. Those of you that did. We always enjoy kind of having those relaxed live streams where it's, I mean, this one wasn't necessarily relaxing, wearing the shot collars, but, you know, sometimes we just like to hang out, just the four of us, and have a good chat, which is what we did. Play some games. And those shows are pretty fun. Philip wants to know if I have any shock marks. No, you know, I don't think we've ever done a close-up. And just to answer your question before you ask it, no, I won't be putting this on this morning. Definitely not. But you see, it's got little... Where's the camera? The actual unit itself, it's got little prods there. But they're rubber, so they're removable. So while they don't diminish the effect at all, they do protect you from getting any burn marks or anything like that. They're serious. They're pretty serious devices. These are courtesy of Paul, by the way. Still going strong, Paul. But yeah, they're terrifying. Terrifying. Truly. But yeah, so last night was a lot of fun. Next week, of course, is the kickoff of Oktoberfest. So as I mentioned, we'll be hanging out with our buddy Sweet Butter Joe. But he'll be appearing as his Oktoberfest alter ego, Schnaps, from the German Oktoberfest band Hops und Schnaps. One half. Because the other half is actually on tour doing an Oktoberfest tour, pardon me, with Alex Meixner, who's a international Hall of Famer in the polka world. So just recently inducted. Congratulations, Alex. Philip said it appears that Ellie liked the shock collar. Yeah, she figured out a good spot on her neck to put it where it's probably more therapeutic. Not me. I just keep it right on my carotid artery. It's not good. And Jordan, she's still a punk. She still won't she still won't wear it. She refuses flat out. Oh, let's see. What's going on? Yeah, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to get a little refill here. When we come back, we're going to talk about mushrooms. We talked about mushrooms just a little bit ago. So I'm gonna tell you about the amazing fungi that we enjoy and maybe don't enjoy, but maybe I can change your mind. We'll see. You're listening to Jams and Coffee in the morning, and I appreciate you doing so. We'll be right back. Let me pick a good song here. Let's find a good one. Oh, yeah. Here's one by Brad Brock. Maybe I won't get a copyright ding for this one. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back.
Up again. She says she's out with friends. If I've got nothing else to do, she said I should come out too. Ooh. It's only 10:30. Thoughts of her keep drifting in. Wild nights around this town, I know how it's going down. Ooh. I don't know what this is, but it feels good. Standing in that dress, she looks real good. Over, we move closer, but I know when the night is through that I'm in Phantom Blue. I'm in Phantom Blue. I see those eyes again. Come and get me green. She touches me as she walks past. I just can't help but to laugh. Ooh. I don't know what this is, but it feels good. Standing in that dress, she looks real good. Over, we move I know, when the night is through, that I'm in Baton Blue. I don't know what this is, but it feels good. Standing in that dress, she looks real good. She looks over, we move closer. But I know, when the night is through, that I'm in Baton Blue. I'm in Baton Blue. I'm in Baton Blue.
You're listening to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show.
You sure are.
With your host, Brad Brock.
I sure am. Thank you, Jessica, for bringing us back in on the break. As always. You never, always rely on Jessica. She's always there for me, even when I don't want her to be. Anyway, welcome back to the show, you guys. Thanks for tuning in on YouTube, Facebook, or JNC Radio via the Live365 app. Jams and coffee in the morning. I'm sans coffee this morning. I'm drinking a Celsius Live Fit sparkling water. No, sparkling drink. I don't know. It's local here for Florida, which is awesome. Boca Raton. I don't think you're supposed to drink them and do nothing, but that's exactly what I'm doing. So enjoying that. Yeah. Last night, the show, not only did the show run late on the Jams and Cocktails podcast, but then we all just hung out. I think I made a pizza. We made hot dogs. We had a feast. We hung out and did not get to bed at a reasonable hour. So when I woke up, I had not set the coffee pot. There was a lot of things I had not put together the show for this morning, so I had to do that. There were still some problems, as I mentioned, with JNC Radio that I had to troubleshoot this morning. Figured it out. Hopefully it's working. I don't know if you're listening on JNC Radio. Let me know how it's going. You can let me know in the chats on YouTube, or you can call me. 772-888-1596 gets you on the air. Paul said it's a sober-up feast. Yeah, I was drinking Hop Life's Zero Viz Florida IPA, and I just didn't realize like how heavy-hitting it is, especially in those 24-ounce cans. And I think I drank 4 of them. So I was feeling quite good, quite light by the end of the episode last night. But alas, here we are. It's a new day. We were talking a little bit about mushrooms, and we're going to talk about it because it's time to put some fungi back on your plate. And this applies to those of you who think you don't like mushrooms, but maybe you just not had them in the right way. Sometimes they're not right on a pizza. It depends on the mushrooms that you're getting. But the truth is, mushrooms are having a moment. And whether it's the recent documentary Fantastic Fungi or their newfound trendiness as a vegan leather, September is National Mushroom Month. Did you know that? Because of a mushroom's fertile growing capabilities and versatility in many dishes, any month is a great one to be celebrating fungi. Mushrooms are recyclers, according to Olga Katic, owner of Mushroom Mountain, a South Carolina mushroom farm and educational center. They can grow on natural byproducts, such as corn husks, wood chips, sawdust, seed hulls, and yes, of course, manure that would otherwise be discarded. Mushrooms are also a sustainable crop because they don't need many resources to flourish. They really do not require lots of water, and they don't require lots of space either, according to Katic. It only takes 2 gallons of water to grow 1 pound of mushrooms versus approximately 1,800 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef. Because mushrooms can be grown indoors, no farmland is necessary for crop production. 1 acre of space can produce 1 million mushrooms per year. That's according to the American Mushroom Institute. There's an institute for everything, just so you know. That's the American Mushroom Institute. In addition, mushrooms emit very little carbon dioxide while growing, less than 1 pound per pound of mushrooms. So they're, healthy. Beyond their benefit to the environment, mushrooms are great for our bodies, too. They're a healthy source of fiber, protein, vitamins, and minerals, while being low in fat, cholesterol, and calories. Mushrooms can be a potent source of vitamin D, which can be powered up with sunlight, according to studies. If you get some mushrooms from the store and expose their gills, the feathery ribs on the underside of the mushroom cap to sunlight, their vitamin D content shoots up. They're like little solar panels that you can eat. That's kind of dope. I didn't know that. So before you eat your store-bought mushrooms, shine them towards the sun. That's cool, man. There are so many interesting compounds in them. Catech added, including selenium, potassium, and beta-glucan, which is a type of soluble fiber which can help fight heart disease and lower cholesterol. The earthy, savory taste of mushrooms makes them a versatile and delicious ingredient in so many dishes. So cozy up with fungi this fall and explore the many varieties, wild and cultivated, that you'll find at your local markets with these recipes and cooking ideas. But before you start, clean your mushrooms. It's a common misconception that you can't use water to clean mushrooms. Though they have a high water content on their own, food scientists have shown mushrooms don't absorb much water when rinsed or even soaked. Save yourself some time in the kitchen and stop wiping down individual mushrooms. Instead, rinse stemmed mushrooms in a colander or a strainer and then gently transfer to a cotton knot terry cloth. They made that very apparent. But a nice cotton kitchen towel. You can gently roll up the towel to dry the mushrooms, then slice or prep as needed for whatever recipe you're making. Now I want mushrooms. I love mushrooms. Especially like the big portobello mushrooms, man. You could, completely ruin the nutritional value by putting a slice of cheese on it. But you can put it in and then toast up a hamburger bun. You can put lettuce, tomato, onion on there and have like a portobello sandwich. Oh, it's good, man. So, how do you guys feel about mushrooms out there? Let me know. I love them. I think they're great. We got some local news here going on in the Port St. Lucie area. There's a slight name change for Club Med, Sandpiper Bay. They've dropped the Club Med name under new ownership, which makes a lot of sense. I reported earlier this year that they had sold, and there was everybody was wondering, are the employees going to be fired? Are they going to demolish it? What are they going to do? No, the truth is that it's going to remain almost exactly the same. So they're shedding the well-known brand name of Club Med, which is, of course, a 216-acre resort property, and then now it's under new ownership here in Port St. Lucie, and now known as Sandpiper Bay Resort. The place formerly known as Club Med, Sandpiper Bay, has completed its ownership transition under Altitude International Holdings Incorporated. The $55 million purchase by Altitude and the transition proceeded without a break in business for the resort. They stayed open. Altitude has been operating at the property for nearly 13 years already as Club Med Academies. It's provided youth sport camps there, and it's now known as Altitude Academies. The luxury all-inclusive resort opened back in 1986. Sandpiper Bay features 335 hotel rooms, some waterfront on the U.S. or the St. Lucie River, a golf course, a driving range, tennis and pickleball courts, volleyball, soccer fields, and a marina. Club Med had 226 employees before the sale, and Altitude didn't indicate whether the staff levels have changed or what they will be now that the sale is complete. Gregory Brunick, Altitude's CEO, said he'll lead a 2-year renovation plan for the property, but it will stay open as the work is done. He said, our long-term vision is to be globally recognized as a world-class hub for hospitality, sports, and education opportunities by incorporating and fully integrating the resort operation. Our existing sports academy and comprehensive real estate development strategy. Period. That was him in a statement. The property did trade one brand name for another in the transition. The full new name for the resort is Sandpiper Bay Resort, a trademark collection by Wyndham. Wyndham is a worldwide hotel chain, in case you didn't know that, but no information was available about its role with Sandpiper Bay. During the summer, Club Med had reported its closing to the state and reported all its employees would be laid off by September. And that was before the sale to Altitude was final and before Altitude made any public comment about its plans for the property or the existing employees. With the sale complete, Club Med's website for Sandpiper Bay says the property is closed. As of Wednesday, there was no independent website available for booking at Sandpiper Bay. Company representative who answered the front desk phone said a website would be up and running by October 5th. So there you go. And if you love hanging out by the water, you might have noticed a little bit of an invasion lately. The chances are you've probably seen a moon jellyfish pulsing through the water or washed up on the shoreline. The animals, named, of course, for their circular shape that resembles a full moon, are appearing by the hundreds in Treasure Coast waters lately. While they're a good food source for hungry sea turtles, moon jellies also have their drawbacks. They often clog water infrastructure like pipes and pumps. They give mild stings and can sometimes be an indicator of poor water quality. I don't like that. Jellyfish, including moon jellies, can be found in small numbers year-round in Florida, but populations will increase sometimes dramatically during the warmer months. That's according to Jim Masterson, a research professor in marine ecology at Florida Atlantic University's Harbor Branch Oceanographic Institute at Fort Pierce. They're usually most abundant in September and October before tapering off again as the water becomes colder. But they're not guaranteed to come every year. People usually only become aware of the uptick in jellyfish when beachgoers and boaters start reporting that they are encountering them in larger than normal numbers. When that happens, it's usually because warm water temperatures coincide with strong onshore winds and or currents that are pushing them inshore in large numbers and piling them up on the beach. So where do moon jellyfish come from? Well, I'm going to tell you. Moon jellies, like most of their gelatinous relatives, can propel themselves by pulsating their dinner plate-shaped top, grow to be as much as 18 inches in diameter. But they still tend to flow with the ocean currents, because why not? Just be lazy. That would be me. I would be a jellyfish if I came back. Their movement is largely driven by ocean and wind current patterns, also food availability. That's according to Zach Judd, Director of Education at Florida Oceanographic Society. They're normally found in the Atlantic Ocean's offshore currents, but long periods of onshore winds can bring the creatures closer to the shore, Judd said. Moon jellyfish feast on smaller food compared to other types of jellyfish, with a diet including plankton, mollusk larvae, and tiny crustaceans. When you see large numbers of moon jellies around, it oftentimes coincides with the time of year when we've gotten lots of plankton growing in the water, which is, of course, their favorite food source. It's not unusual to see seasonal upticks in the abundance of certain gelatinous animals like jellies. Still, even the most predictable patterns can be influenced by things like water temperature and current upwellings, and could become harder to predict with fossil fuel-induced climate change, according to Judd, of course. So there you go. There's the reason why you've seen so many jellies around here. Speaking of the Atlantic, we went all of August, Paul, without having a named storm. And then September hit, and my goodness. Tropical Storm Fiona has formed in the Atlantic, becoming the 6th named storm of the 2022 Atlantic hurricane season, according to the National Hurricane Center. A storm packing winds of 50 miles per hour with even higher gusts was about 625 miles east of the Leeward Islands as it strengthened from a tropical depression yesterday morning. Tropical storms watches have been issued for the islands of Saba, St. Eustace, St. Martin, Montserrat, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla. Additional tropical storm watches and warnings may be issued today for parts of the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and Hispaniola. On the forecast track, the center of the storm forecast to move through the Leeward Islands late Friday and Friday night and be near the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico this weekend. The storm is forecast to deliver between 3 and 5 inches of rain in the Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico and Hispaniola, according to forecasters. And maximum rain may reach 8 inches, which is devastating. These rains may produce isolated flash and urban flooding, along with isolated mudslides in areas of higher terrain. And by early next week, the system is forecast to be near Hispaniola, where it'll likely be weakened by interaction with the island's mountainous terrain. So maybe not so much concern here in Florida yet, but we like to keep an eye on things like that because you never know what could happen with these storms. That's the truth. I guess it would be a good idea for me to kind of like go and assess our hurricane supplies and our shutters and things. We haven't had to put them up yet here at the new house, so I should make sure that we have plenty of supply, plenty of things to put up. We have a lot more windows here than we did the last home, but I'm sure we'll get it figured out, as we often do. Where am I at here? Da-da-da-da-da. All right, we are about 8:45 here, which means absolutely nothing. I do have some music news. I think I'm going to forego the break. We'll knock out these stories, and I'll let you get on your way. Simon Cowell of American Idol fame and X Factor fame, and fame before that as well. He was a very successful manager of entertainers. Now, he reveals that the hit song Baby One More Time would have gone to boy band 5 if he had it his way. Britney Spears would have had a completely different debut single if Simon Cowell had actually managed to wrestle Baby One More Time away from her. Speaking on the Howie Mandel Does Stuff podcast, the super producer revealed he tried to snag the future hit single for his boy band 5, which is kind of the male version of the Spice Girls. Cowell said he was just on the verge of breaking them in America, and he felt the future Britney hit song was 5's golden ticket. Cowell said he learned of the track when an affiliate called him. The song was written for TLC, and TLC passed on it. He recalled after the affiliate played it for him over the phone, he remembers saying, "Oh my God, I have to have this song." The former American Idol judge sought out producer Max Martin, who wrote the hit song, and offered him a Mercedes 500 SL in exchange for the single. I phoned up Max and he said, please give me the song. Cowell recalled, but found out that it was promised to someone else. Cowell demanded to know who grabbed it before him and learned it went to a singer who was unknown at the time. And that, of course, was Britney Spears. Cowell tried convincing Martin to break the deal. He said, let me give you some advice. No one is going to have a hit with a name called Britney Spears. Of course, the rest is history. And Cowell admits Martin's foresight was better than his, and he made the right decision. But, of course, the British mogul quipped, listen, I would have taken the car. So there you go. The history could have been a lot different if Simon Cowell had his way. And if you've ever wondered when the perfect time is to show up to a party, singer Ava Max, shares her thoughts on that. She's not a fan of showing up to parties on time, so she shared a piece of advice about it when it's appropriate to walk through the door. Speaking to an interview during New York Fashion Week, the Sweet But a Psycho singer opened up about her partying practices. She revealed the best time is an hour and a half after the party starts. As she was heading to the Vogue fashion show and after party, I don't like to show up right on the dot. I like to have a few drinks in my hotel room first. That said, if you invite Ava to your party, there's no reason to worry that she bailed if she doesn't show up right on time. Ava is certainly enjoying herself in New York, revealing that she's packed her schedule with events that have been cutting into her beauty rest. The singer revealed that while she's holding up okay, she did not get any sleep, is running on a few hours of rest. Thankfully, the hitmaker will soon be able to catch up on her sleep because New York Fashion Week wraps up yesterday. So she can finally rest today. What do you guys think about that? Do you like to show up at parties right on time, or are you punctual? I certainly don't think an hour and a half into a party is appropriate for no reason whatsoever. But I've been known to be half hour late, fashionably late. But if everybody did that, then you'd always just start your party. You'd be alone at your party for an hour and a half before anybody decided to walk through the door. Paul said, unless you're on Miami time. That's a whole different story, I suppose. I guess she's not talking about birthday parties. I guess she's talking about like event parties and things like that. Paul makes a good point in the chat here. He said, if you show up first, you might have to help set up. That's true. That's true as well. You might have to do that. Oh, boy. All right, let's see here. Had an interesting top 10 today I'm going to share with you guys. Because in life, there are heroes and villains. Then some were villains who later found themselves on the winning side, and history painted them as heroes by default. And finally, there are those who rose to the top of philanthropic stardom, invented a life-saving cure, or defeated an entire fascist movement by showing up, doing more than expected, and getting the results. People in society need heroes to bear their flag and fight the good fight, so it's no wonder those who stray from the path fall from those high perches and fall hard. And here are 10 heroes who lived long enough to become the villain in our JNC Top 10. All right. Pam said on last remark, she said, we're usually there early. Of course, the party's at our house usually. I understand that. Can't be late to your own party. I take that back. Can't is a strong word. You shouldn't be late to your own party. What are you going to do? Number 10 on this list of heroes to villains. Henry Heimlich. You may recognize his name. Henry was an American thoracic, that's what it is, thoracic surgeon and researcher credited with inventing a move meant to save people from choking. Of course, the Heimlich maneuver. And many of us have experienced the sensation of choking, yet not many know that in 2020, more than 4,900 people died from choking in the U.S. alone. That seems like a crazy number. But it's true, because I said it. That's a staggering amount of deaths. And one could only imagine what numbers would look like had Henry not invented the Heimlich maneuver. Well, it is therefore safe to say that Henry is directly responsible for saving thousands, if not millions, of lives around the world from turning Smurf blue from unchewed steak. However, his legacy turned sour when it became evident that his promoted use of the maneuver to assist drowning victims had destructive results, to say the least. In addition to that, he also advocated for the use of malaria therapy to treat HIV. His controversial nature became so problematic that they even took the name of his own move from him, now calling it an abdominal thrust rather than a Heimlich. What a way to choke, Henry. Aha! Oh, the button didn't work. I have to turn off my soundboard to type to you guys. Or type anything at all. All right, here we go. Number 9 on this list, Henry Philippe Benoni Omer Pétain, or commonly known as Marshal Pétain, was a French general who attained the position of Marshal of France during World War I. Amid the horrors of the war, he was credited for stopping the Germans at the Battle of Verdun and was given the killer nickname the Lion of Verdun for his exploits. A literal war hero for the French army, Pétain turned villain faster than he could lift his arm in a Nazi salute when he became chief of state after Germany's invasion in 1940. He collaborated with the Nazi regime and adopted repressive measures against the Jewish populace. He was later sentenced to death, which was reduced to a life imprisonment. Yeah, talk about becoming a war hero and then becoming the villain. Oh, that's a pretty good example. Number 8 on our list. In the earlier days of Jim Jones, he was known as a charismatic churchgoer with powers in healing and foresight. Not an uncommon personality for the time, yet Jones's religious antics could be forgiven on the basis that he made waves fighting racial integration and established organizations that would help combat homelessness. Admirable qualities that nobody could fault, regardless of religion or creed. It should have ended there, but Jones developed what some might call narcissistic personality disorder. Along with a strong contingent of followers, Jones established the People's Temple Agricultural Project, Jonestown, in Guyana. It became the home of the U.S.-based cult that Jones formed. Long story short, his whole congregation drank cyanide-laced Kool-Aid, and Jones is therefore considered to be the cause of one of the largest religious mass suicides in the history of this world, killing 913 people, 304 of which were under the age of 18. And worst of all, he didn't even drink his own poison. Son of a bitch. Yeah, that's crazy. Number 7, going back just a few years, an American military officer who served in the Revolutionary War. He was hailed as a hero for his efforts. He fought with distinction for the American Continental Army and rose all the way to the rank of Major General before defeating or defecting to the British side of the conflict and choosing the title Most Hated Man, possibly in the history of America. Have you figured out who it is yet? As we're talking about Benedict Arnold, of course. Traitor. Many theories have come out about why Arnold became a defector: greed, debt, resentment of other officers, hatred for the Continental Congress, and even a desire for the colonies to remain under British rule. Yet financial woes seemed to be his main driver. Arnold allegedly avoided the gallows and fled to Britain after the war had concluded, where he lived out his life as an unsuccessful businessman / traitor. In pop culture, the words Benedict Arnold became synonymous with treason or becoming a traitor. So, from hero to traitor. Philip said, yeah, drink the Kool-Aid, phrase maker. Morbid. Number 6, we're going to talk about Richard Jewell, or rather the media, because the media was this is a two-sided one. He goes from 1 to 1 to 1. So let's clear something up first before we get into it. Richard was not the villain. He was exonerated and cleared, yet his reputation had taken the blow nonetheless. And this is more about the media becoming the villain than Richard being suspected of terrorism. The 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta, Richard discovered a suspicious-looking bag containing homemade explosive devices rigged to blow. After the discovery, Jewell was able to get attendees away from the danger zone. However, the blast still managed to kill one person and injure 111 others. And a move that saved countless lives, Richard was hailed as a hero until a list of FBI suspects leaked, painting Richard as a suspect. The media turned sour quicker than milk left in the sun, as they lambasted him for his possible role in the bombings, even shaming his weight and overall appearance. In the end, Jewell was cleared. After multiple libel lawsuits and a few legal settlements, Jewell served in several police jobs before passing away due to health complications. So from hero to villain to not villain. Yeah, that was a crazy story. I believe there's some documentaries out that tell his story. Worth a watch, because if you were around in 96, you probably remember this going on at the Olympics. And yeah, man, they went from calling him a hero to really just running him through the mud. And that's got to be devastating. Number 5 here, we're talking about Harry Harlow. In the early 20th century, many psychologists believed that showing affection toward children was merely a sentimental gesture rather than an essential developmental component. Well, Harry Harlow set out to study the topic that wasn't easy to quantify and measure. And of course, we're talking about love. Seems nice, right? Harry performed tests in a series of controversial experiments using rhesus monkeys to show the effects of love and its absence. His work demonstrated the devastating result of social deprivation on young monkeys and revealed the importance of a caregiver's love for childhood development. Unethical already, it should have ended there. But after his wife passed away from cancer, Harry doubled down on the villainous side of things. He began experimenting with punishment and reward before also creating things like the wire mother experiment, cages built to induce depression, the tunnel of terror, and the pit of despair. Each, of course, uniquely inhumane in its own way. Eventually, the ethics committee caught up and put a stop to his antics. Yikes. Number 4 on our list, Nobel Prize winner Linus Pauling. For a man who won Nobel Prizes for chemistry and peace and published over 1,000 papers and books dealing with an array of scientific topics, Linus was on a speedboat to become one of the most highly regarded scientific minds of his generation. Linus did a lot of work studying vitamin C and the positive effects it could have on the body, making such claims that it could cure cancer, which the medical fraternity shot down with scorn. Well, instead of taking criticism on the chin, he directed all his energy to prove those who disagreed with him wrong. And this endeavor proved to be a bridge too far. As it turned out, he was in fact wrong. Where's the button? Wrong. No, that's crickets. Crickets too. He was in fact wrong. It wasn't that he was an evil man per se, but rather that his insistence on being right caused a ripple effect that could be seen even today among those who seem to consume vitamins like Tic Tacs, thinking they might reap the benefits. Not to say vitamin C is bad, but probably not a cure-all for, cancer and AIDS. I don't know. Number 3 on our list, moving right along, Fritz Haber. If he was a superhero, he'd probably be called the two-sided coin. as he had one of the most good guy, bad guy lives in all of history. But actually, Haber was nothing more than an exceptional chemist. One of the most well-known chemists ever, responsible for the Haber-Bosch process, an important method for large-scale synthesis of fertilizers and explosives. It was also this work that won him the Nobel Prize in chemistry. The problem, however, was that he was one of the best in the business when the Germans declared war against the world, and as history would paint them, they were the bad guys. After Haber joined the German army and was promoted to the rank of captain and head of chemistry in the Ministry of War, he developed the first chemical weapons used in World War I. Ultimately, Haber ushered in an era of chemical warfare that to this day is as tragic and horrific as the first time it was implemented. Yeah, that's crazy. Here's a name you might recognize, Charles Lindbergh. Of course, he's known in history as the first airline pilot to fly solo across the Atlantic, making the long trip from New York to Paris in one nonstop flight all the way back in 1927. It made him an instant hero in a society obsessed with feats of accomplishment and bravado. Just before the war, however, he was awarded medals from the Nazi government, which started the slide. When World War II broke out, it polarized not only the countries involved in the war, but also the populace of those who had not yet engaged. Before the U.S. joined the fighting, a few figures made it known that they were opposed to the idea of the U.S. getting involved in foreign policy and conflicts of such scale. Lindbergh, in a famous anti-Semitic speech, went on to say that three groups were pushing the U.S. to join the war: the British, Roosevelt's administration, and the Jews. He added that the Jews would be better served not to join the war as they might feel its consequences the most. Labeled a Nazi sympathizer, he was never able to outlive the tarnish. And then we can get into the Lindbergh baby thing, but we won't. We don't have time for that. Maybe we'll do a podcast on that or something. I don't know. Charles Romley Alder Wright. You might not recognize that name, but he is number one on our list. Charles was responsible for creating the most famous chemical found on the streets that make people go to Candy Mountain and was the original founder of the Royal Institute of Chemistry. Well, there you go. Wright was a physics and chemistry researcher in London when he started experimenting with morphine, combining it with various acids. Being the good guy he was, he hoped to discover a non-addictive alternative to the medicine. Well, that didn't go so well because unfortunately he soon stumbled upon an even more potent morphine by boiling a few fancy chemicals, thereby forming diacetyl morphine, or in an easier word to say, heroin. Yes, the drug was marketed as a cough medicine until its addictive qualities were better understood before it was removed from the market, of course. And to this day, it's one of the most addictive and destructive drugs out there. So thanks, Charlie. And there you have it. That is 10 real-life heroes who became the villains in their own story. Thank you for listening. Yes. We do have some celebrity birthdays today. We're going to knock those out and then some shameless plugs, and I'll get you through the rest of your day. Celebrating his 38th trip around the sun. Perhaps a somber birthday, but Prince Harry is turning 38 today. Younger son of England's Prince Charles, or King Charles III, as he is now, and the late Princess Diana, who is fifth in line to become the monarch of the Commonwealth realms now. He launched, of course, the Invictus Games in 2014 and gives to several other organizations. So, happy birthday, Prince Harry. Turning 45, actor Tom Hardy, celebrating his 45th birthday today. Of course, he played Bane in The Dark Knight Rises and went on to star as the title character in Marvel's Venom. He's also played prominent roles in films, in the films Bronson, Warrior, Star Trek Nemesis, and the Oscar-winning films Mad Max, Fury Road, and The Revenant. Happy birthday, Tom. Another Tom celebrating a birthday today, Tommy Lee Jones, turning 76 years old. He, of course, won a Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role as U.S. Marshal Samuel Gerard in The Fugitive. His other major roles include Agent K in Men in Black and Colonel Chester Phillips in Captain America, the First Avenger. Happy birthday, Tommy Lee Jones. We have some historical birthdays, no longer with us, but prevalent in our world history. Of course, Marco Polo. It's his birthday today. He passed away just a few years ago in 1324 at the age of 69 years old. Of course, he was the 13th century explorer and namesake of the swimming pool game, of course. He was the first European to keep a detailed journal of his experiences in China, and his writings became points of inspiration for the one and only Christopher Columbus. We all know how that turned out. Marco Polo. And another birthday today would be Agatha Christie, considered the Queen of Crime. This British mystery writer became known for her works such as a Murder on the Orient Express and The Mousetrap. She was the 1955 recipient of the Mystery Writers of America's Grand Master Award. She passed away in 1976 at the age of 85. Nice full life, I think. Agatha Christie. So happy birthday out there to all you celebrities. Some shameless plugs. First and foremost, if you're local in the Treasure Coast area, weather permitting, again, I'll hopefully be performing at the Square Grouper in Fort Pierce, 8 o'clock tonight. It's supposed to be clearing up after sunset, so hopefully it'll be nice. I'll be solo there this evening. Usually I'm there as a duo, but moving forward, the man, the myth, the legend, keyboard player and entertainer extraordinaire, Tony Solomon, will be joining me on a regular basis. I pulled him out of somewhat musical retirement or performing retirement, and he's graciously accepted my offer to perform with me every other Thursday at Square Grouper as long as he can. So that'll be great. It's a great show, the two of us. So that'll be moving forward every other Thursday. Yeah. So come out and see me tonight. Check out last night's, probably sometime this afternoon, I'll have the re-upload of the Jams and Cocktails podcast. Check that out. Check out the highlights from that show. I pull out clips that are good, and it's an easier way to get a little sample without having to scroll through the whole video. It's a long one, so hopefully I can knock some stuff out and shorten it up just a little bit. But it was a lot of fun. It's always great hanging out with this group. So check that out. And, of course, the audio version will be up wherever you listen to podcasts. Let me see here. What else? The Live365 app. Go get it. It's awesome. It's a great radio app. If you're tired of corporate radio, it's a great way to listen to music or discover radio shows that are produced independently. And so you can find us there, JNC Radio, and you can find others. My friends operate a radio station called Mashup Reggae. If that's your vibe, they just play great reggae music, ad free, all day long. So it's a great thing. Go get it. It's for free from your app store. Live365. Paul. Again, dropped his podcast on Ringo Starr this Tuesday. Go check that out if you haven't. I believe you're doing your live stream tomorrow, Paul. The biggest happy hour. I think he switched it to tomorrow. Let me know if I'm right or wrong there in the chats if you can. But yeah, check out all the things that Paul does with Drums and Rums. Super cool, very informative, and just a super guy. So do that. check out jncpodcast.com. You can watch this show. You can watch all of our live streams right there in there. You can listen to JNC Radio. You can find it right there on the page. All our social media and music news and things like that. It's all there in a very easy to digest web page, whether you're on your phone or on a desktop. jncpodcast.com will get you there. jncradio.com will get you there. jamsandcocktails.com will get you there. So check out that website. We'd love that. Of course, our friends at Code Rum, check out their products. Johnny Ringo also has Code Rum cakes and also has Captain Ringo's hot sauces. All great stuff. Check out all the things that he has to offer at Code Rum or thecoderum.com. Yeah. thecoderum.com. And yeah, I think that does it for my shameless plugs. Might be some more that I'm missing. You never know. But I hope that everybody enjoyed the show this morning. I hope you learned something new about mushrooms and heroes and villains of history. While I bid you adieu for the day, we'll be right back here tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, for another edition of Jams and Coffee. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Brad Brock. Sayonara.
Tune in again tomorrow morning for the latest local buzz, national headlines, music news, and more on JNC in the Morning, right here on Facebook and YouTube.